He represents Queens in the New York State Assembly, and he is the Democratic nominee for mayor of New York City. Please welcome to the show, Zohran Mamdani. This is it. These are the people you would like to represent.
Yes.
The New York City people. I'm curious about that. You know, I had spoken with you months ago, and I felt a real love that you had for New York City. Now that you've gotten to know us. Still there?
Still love it.
Really?
Still love this.
All
city.
of it?
All of it. All of it. All of it.
What do you got now? You got 3 days, 4 days? Is that?
We've got about 8 days left.
8 days?
8 days left.
And what is that, in that moment, do you have to keep, what do you think you need to do to close the deal, to keep this? You are clearly right now in the front-running position, I can tell, because they've gone 9/11 on you. So that's clearly a sign of...
The closing argument.
A closing argument. Yeah. 9/11! So what do you feel like you've got to do to close the deal with New York citizens?
You know, it is in many ways the same thing that got us here, which is canvassing.
Oh, really?
You know, for all of the focus on rallies, on commercials, on debates, it really comes back to people speaking to other New Yorkers about the city that we all love. We have 90,000 volunteers right now.
On your campaign?
On our campaign. 90,000. And it's 90,000 people who are picking up the phone banking someone that they don't know. 90,000 people who have knocked on a door of a New Yorker they've never met. 90,000 people who just wait for 15 seconds.
Yeah. No, listen.
And then hope
what
that someone will open that door.
What do New Yorkers love more than anything? It's strangers coming to the door.
Yes.
Or calling them.
Yes. But, you know, I think this is the thing, is that for people that we're often characterized as being rude, I will tell you that New Yorkers have been so kind in the experiences they've had with our volunteers, because what they're speaking to is another New Yorker.
Right.
And it's an understanding that politics is not something you have, it's something that you do. And in this moment where politics has become just another word for division, for not just Republicans, but also Democrats.
Sure.
These New Yorkers are ones who've understood that you never hate someone more than before you know them.
Right.
And knocking on that door, having that conversation doesn't just win the election for us, it also starts to build the city that we want to lead.
What's the kind of feedback that you get from your volunteers in the field? And what about for you canvassing? Because I have to tell you, one of the most, I thought, shrewdest campaign moves, and this was in the primary, not in the general, is when you walked from the top of Manhattan all the way down to the bottom, and met people. You've got to be very confident in yourself to do that, because New Yorkers will generally tell you what they think.
Yes. Yes.
When they see you.
And even when they are telling you something that's technically supportive, it sounds like you're being heckled. Like, I was. That
is what we do.
Yeah, I was on Nostrand Ave a few days ago, and this woman just pulled up in her car. She was like, "I'm voting for you." And I was like, I don't. Thank you. It just sounded like I was about to get my ass whooped, but it was by my voter.
Right.
So it was a.
And New Yorkers,
experience.
by the way, no one will be as mad at you if it doesn't go right as the people who love you now. Have you felt that as well?
You know, it's often framed as a burden or as an obligation.
Right.
But frankly, I think it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to actually show that this whole campaign where we've talked about freezing the rent, making buses faster, free delivering universal childcare, these are not just slogans.
Right.
These are commitments. And when we deliver them here in New York City, it will be also the delivery of a politics that can actually aspire for more than what you're living through. And for so many people across the city, politics has just become synonymous with an argument of celebrate the little you have or lose that.
Right.
And it can't be that.
Zero
anymore.
sum.
It can't be.
Do you have a Mamdani hierarchy of needs? You know, I lived in this city for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, livability is if you can run this place, you will earn a great deal of leeway to do all kinds of innovative things. But if people feel disorder, man, you won't be able to do. And I've lived through the eras of New York where it was disorder. And it does make it, people feel it.
I mean, look, public safety is the prerequisite for an affordability agenda.
Job one.
Right? People have to be safe. And we also know that safety is something that you not only deliver with the NYPD, it's also something that you deliver by ensuring that there are actually jobs that can pay people enough to stay in the city. All of these things are integrated.
Tell me that last part again. That's
No, but today I was taking the 1 train downtown with a reporter from ABC, and we were having a conversation. And we walk on the train, and there's a homeless man sleeping on the train. And for all
was he with the Cuomo campaign?
No, he was not. But my
that's just bad humor. Bad humor.
But my point is that we get on the train and we see this, and this is an illustration of the fact there are about 4,300 New Yorkers who are homeless between our subway platforms, our parks, our streets.
Right.
There's almost the same number of vacant supportive housing units that are built for those very kinds of New Yorkers experiencing homelessness. They're vacant. And so I tell this to you as an example. It's not all going to be about a fight for funding or a fight for, transforming city government in the ways that are only big. It's also the ways that are small, the efficiency of the bureaucracy. Because that is an example to New Yorkers that we have a city government that's complacent with the fact that 1 in 4 New Yorkers are living in poverty in the wealthiest city in the country. That's unacceptable.
And it's interesting how much New Yorkers judge the quality of life in New York City from the quality of life under New York City. I can remember the subways, in the bad old days. I'm going to tell you a story. But when I first moved here, in the more chaotic days, back when, I was a purveyor of, I guess you would call them, recreational park vendors. We would buy from their, let's say, cart.
Don't tell me this after January 1st.
No. But it was the city. I was young then, and I didn't mind it. But when I got a family, it was a very different. And the city that I embraced for its chaos as a younger man, I don't think I would have as an older person. Does that quality of life issue, because that's not just Manhattan, that's everywhere.
And I think it's a frustration of mine that we've allowed the words quality of life to become seen as if they're bywords for the Republican Party. Right. They should be at the heart of any progressive politics. Right? If you care about working people, you have to deliver an excellent quality of life for those people.
Man, oh man, is that. And I got to tell you, it always freaks me out when progressives don't push for people in communities that have less money deserve the same security and quality of life that people on Fifth Avenue deserve. And I think we've forgotten that.
Yeah, and I think you just think about the incentives in city government right now, right? You have a trash can in New York City that's overflowing. City government's response is often remove the trash can, not increase trash collection of the trash can.
Really?
Right? This is...
Now, I didn't know we had trash cans that weren't overflowing. I thought that New York City bought them filled.
Yeah, we just permanently the top.
I assumed it was just some sort of
illusion.
You buy a house for your cat. That's just for the rats to have somewhere to climb.
But I think this is, in a city where we're saying we don't have enough money to take care of those who have the least, we have enough money to pay McKinsey to design that trash can. That's the city we're living in.
Right.
It's not about money, it's about will.
And what I love hearing about this is one of the things that's been so frustrating in our politics is so much of it has been defined over these last 10 years as the negative case against someone. And finally, and I think this is not blowing smoke, I think you've made an affirmative case for people. I think the enthusiasm that they have for you is because you've made an affirmative case that's not about protecting something that's going to be lost or a bad man that's over there. It's about an idea that you have And it surprised me that the Democratic establishment did not embrace that energy. And is that something that has bothered you, is getting better? I mean, Hakeem Jeffries with a brave, brave endorsement, I thought, 24 hours ago. What's that been like for you?
You know, I think it's interesting in many ways because our politics and the media that covers it is often focused on the question of endorsements.
Right.
And it's part of what gave Cuomo the sense of inevitability in the primary.
Mm-hmm.
He just seemed to pick up all of these different endorsements. And I think what we showed in many ways was that the days of endorsements deciding elections, those days have come to an end. It's the people that build up a campaign. And you know, I appreciate having Congressman Jeffries' endorsement, and I appreciate more than that when we've spoken, it's been about how do we deliver for our shared constituents.
Right.
Because it's, you know, these are the same New Yorkers, whether we're representing them in City Hall or in Albany or in D.C., and like you said, we've been telling them time and again that all we have to offer is not Trump. But this is also the city that created Trump.
Right.
We have to reckon with that. And when you think about...
Did you hear there was an audible gasp? This is the city that created Trump, and everybody was like, oh my God, that's right! Are we Dr. Frankenstein? No! Like, no!
But it's, you know, after the presidential election, there were all of these obituaries written about the Democratic Party's ability to motivate young voters. Mm-hmm. And there's just this condescension in the language that we use about young people. And I can just tell you that what we found in this campaign is that young people have been at the heart of believing that something could be more than this. And I would say, you know, throughout the primary, this quote from Ed Koch, if you agree with me on 9 out of 12 issues, vote for me. 12 out of 12, see a psychiatrist.
Right.
And I'm in Washington Square Park, I'm filming a video with David Hogg, and this young guy comes up to me and goes, 12 out of 12, baby, send me away! It took me a moment. I was like, what are you talking about? And then today on that same one train, I meet a guy who's like, yeah, man, I'm so hyped about the corporate tax being the same level as New Jersey. And I'm like, you look at the fluency that people have with what it is that we're talking about, and it comes from the fact that we're talking to young people like we would talk to anyone.
You're not patronizing them.
We're not patronizing, we're not condescending,
Right.
We're not like, hanging a shiny little thing and saying, please come follow it.
And those are the people, look, that is a natural constituency. You're a young man, you've got an energy, that's a natural constituency. You've also, though, been trying to connect with those that see you as more of a caricature. I've watched you try and open a dialogue with certain people that are really concerned, some of them in good faith, some of them in bad faith, about, are you experienced enough to handle the city's a bear for even the best manager? There are real issues. What's been your experience meeting and reaching out with those that look at you existentially? Because we live in a culture now, you're either a savior or the death of us all.
Yeah.
So what's it like reaching out to that other group?
You know, I don't begrudge New Yorkers who are skeptical, because
Right.
they've also lived through tens of millions of dollars of commercials telling them to fear me.
Right.
You know, they have lived through waking up every morning and seeing a photo of me and just feeling like, oh my God, because the language that's written around me is as if I'm a threat to the city that they love. And so when I meet with them, just the mere fact that I don't strangle them within 30 seconds is often a surprise.
So you're doing well based on the low bar that's been set.
But then I think it's an opportunity where, you know, I both can tell them the things that I will do and the things that I won't do, right? I will freeze the rent. I won't defund the police. I will make buses fast and
Right.
free. I won't decriminalize misdemeanors. I will deliver universal child care. I won't require everyone to eat halal food. This sounds like a punchline. This is literally...
You just made news.
This is literally in a push poll to New Yorkers saying that I'm going to make halal mandatory. And it's like, if you do want to eat halal, like, go to 34th Avenue in Steinway, go to
Right.
Mahmoud's, but I'm not going to force you to go there.
Right. You wouldn't force them, but you would describe it in such delicious terms.
Yeah.
that people would have a hard time.
If they wanted chicken and rice, there would only be one place.
Resisting that.
Yeah.
What about those who worry about feasibility?
Yeah.
Who say, and this is another thing, because not just there's a caricature presented, but we've also lived through decades of people who promised idealism, who promised a lot of things, and didn't either run the city well or be able to deliver on that. And those are not easy things to deliver. You know, I'll give you an example. You were talking about a couple of taxes that you wanted to raise. It was a millionaire's tax and I think one other.
Corporate tax.
Kathy Hochul last night. And you were talking about that, and Kathy Hochul is on stage, and she goes, "We'll see," you know. And I just thought, like, she couldn't even. She like in the middle of it, she's like, "I'm going to fight that." Okay. How are you going to deal with the reality when rubber meets the road when you get in there?
You know, we have seen that reality is in many ways a result of the political coalition that you build. Right. The coalition you build can change that reality. We changed it from October to now of last year. We can keep changing it because what we found is talking about raising taxes on people who make $1 million, increasing it by just 2%, increasing the state's corporate tax rate to match that of the socialist utopia of New Jersey. These are things that are not just broadly popular. They also have precedence. And most importantly, though, you're not looking to do them in and of themselves. You're looking to do them to fund an affordability agenda that would transform quality of life for every New Yorker.
Right.
And I think the question...
To make this city affordable,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. You know, I moved up here again in the early, like, I can't remember a time this city was ever affordable. Like, that truly would be. I worry sometimes if you make it affordable, if you make it nicer, more people will want to come here.
Which is good.
And then the prices will go up. It's such a... Do we just need... You know, we talk about housing and all those different things. Do we just need more land? There's this park that I've been to in the middle of the city. It's...
What an incredible opportunity.
Right? But is what makes it so difficult here just the density that you're dealing with?
Well, I think it's actually the absence of imagination more than the density, right? We obviously have a finite amount of land, but the ways in which we restrict ourselves from building on that same amount of land, right? It means that Jersey City is building 7 homes per 1,000 people, Tokyo is building 10, we're barely at 4.
Right.
And that's not because of the lack of land, that's also because we don't want to build enough around the little land that we have.
Right.
And, you know, I think it's... You were asking earlier about the feasibility, the experience. Part of this is also not having an understanding of leadership that you yourself make every decision and you yourself are the person who must know every single thing.
Right.
You actually create a team around you, and they're not all going to be 34, right? This is a team of people who...
Younger?
Yeah. This is the retirement age.
It's Zohran Mamdani and the K-pop Demon Hunters. They're going to go in and knock it out. But even that, I have to tell you, and again, you know, I'm impressed with, there's a certain humility to that I don't think a lot of politicians come into the game with, to say, like, hey, man, I probably don't have all the answers, and I'm going to be looking at some experienced hands that I think might be able to help with that.
I think it's a part of youth, frankly. I think youth gives you an innate sense of possibility and a humility that you don't know everything. And I think it's, you know, it's time to have people around you that are not just characterized by the quickness with which they say yes to every idea you put in front of them.
Right. Are you... And I don't want to keep harping on it. Are you sure you don't want to go with the more land thing? Yeah. What if we just built, you know, I know they do this sometimes in the Middle East, they just build islands out of nothing. Can't we connect Lower Manhattan to the Statue of Liberty and then just throw up a couple of high rises?
I actually just want to take this moment. That is the policy idea I came here tonight to announce.
Perfect!
We need something in these last 8 days.
Lastly, before you go, I want to, you know, we were talking earlier in a meeting about, you know, the interview that we're going to go. And one of our writers, Devin, came up with something that I thought was really interesting about who the real MVP of your campaign is. You really seemed to take hold when you were out at Madison Square Garden, outside of MSG, after basketball games, talking to people about how much are tickets, all those things. Do you remember all those videos?
I do remember that.
Fantastic, right?
Thank you.
They really took hold because of how deep the Knicks went into the playoffs.
That's what it was.
So in many ways, isn't the MVP of your campaign
James.
Mr. Jalen Brunson? Isn't it Jalen Brunson? Isn't that, sir, at long last?
I am glad you said Jalen Brunson. I thought you were going to say James Dolan.
No. I was not going there.
So
Jalen Brunson.
I'm glad he's not running for mayor.
Yes. I wish you all the best. Honestly, I think any New Yorker who looks at someone getting an opportunity, who's representing communities that have not been as representative, a Muslim, a young person, a progressive, a democratic socialist, there are so many different communities that are looking to you, and this, I hate to put it on you, as a bit of a Jackie Robinson moment. And I know that probably wields some weight, but man, oh man, what an exciting opportunity.
Thank you.
And I wish you the best.
Thank you.